What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Busy Life Podcast. My name is Julie, and today I am exhausted. I have started my new school year. For those of you who know, I am a special ed teacher. I was a classroom teacher for a bit, and now I'm a special ed teacher. This is going on this is my 7th year of teaching total. And honestly, the beginning of the year never gets easier. The beginning of the year feels like you're herding cats, and you just kind of feel like you're trying to get your life together. You are trying to make sure they know how to do school, especially this year. I am working in kindergarten this year. So those poor guys have, either never been to school, or they've never been to this school. Maybe they went to pre-K, but they did it somewhere else. Or maybe they're lucky and they did the pre-K program at your school. So it's a whole other level of teacher tired. Teacher tired is a phrase that us teachers use to just explain the level of tired. It's like 100 times more tired than regular tired. So today I figured it would be a great day to be real, to be honest with you guys, like I always am. One of my main goals for myself is just to always remain consistent. I will always post episodes for you guys so long as I'm able to. I will always do what I can to take care of myself, my family, my loved ones, so long as I'm able to, etc., etc. So I figured, you know what? Today's episode really is going to be about where I'm at in my life right now, and where I know a lot of my teacher listeners are at as well. And that is this fun phrase where, not really a phrase, it's more of it's a fun time where anxiety meets exhaustion. And it kind of sucks because, it's only September. And I just can't fathom that we're already this tired when it's September, but this really is what the beginning of the year is like. For those of you who don't know what it's like to be a teacher, the beginning of the year feels like a circus. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of people coordinating stuff. There's animals all over the place. But here at school, they're kids. The animals are taking the form of kids. And it's chaotic. Then you hit, I would say, November. November, it's like, oh, we're in a routine. You know what you're doing. The kids know what they're doing. They know where to put their backpacks. They know what they're supposed to do when it's time to go to lunch. They know what they need to do if they have a question, but the teacher is busy. They know what they need to be doing. Then you hit the holidays and you start getting all the days off, which we all love, but therefore they're getting a little crazy. So now maybe we're doing our routines, but we're definitely coloring a Christmas tree when we're done. Or we are doing some kind of like snowman activity. We're playing the games. Then they come back in January. And January is like, they totally forgot the first half of the year. January comes and the kids are like, woo, what is school? Oh my God, I forgot. And they start over completely. So now you're in that phase again until maybe March. Now everybody's calm again. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to do. But then it's spring break. Then you come back from spring break and everyone is completely checked out. Everyone is ready to go home. Everyone is ready for summer. Nobody wants to be there. And that's just how it goes. So we are in phase one, which is what I like to call anxiety meets exhaustion. And basically what that means is we are already tired. We are transitioning all these little guys into their new year, whether it's kindergarten or 5th grade or whatever grade that they're in. They're starting a new year. They're adjusting to their new beginnings. And it's a lot of work. I think I read one like on some website or something that teachers make almost the same amount of decisions as brain surgeons. Like every tiny little detail is something you have to think about. And the amount of times you need to think about, well, I'm going to put this here because it's more convenient there, or I'm going to do this over here because it makes more sense to do it this way, and then I'm going to do it this way because the kids will will understand it that way. It's so true. So naturally, a normal person goes home and, or I guess we shouldn't say the word normal. The average cliche person goes home, doesn't worry about their day, and goes to bed. Not teachers. Teachers go home and they think about what they need to do the next day. They think about that kid that cried for an hour and why wouldn't they stop crying? What could we have done differently? We think about that, support staff member that we wish we could have asked for more help from, but they also looked tired, so we didn't want to bother them. Or we think about the other kid that we had to send to another class because he wasn't doing well and he's still not doing well. So now we feel really bad. I mean, it doesn't stop. So the exhaustion doesn't necessarily come from lack of sleep, even though it definitely does come from lack of sleep. It comes from this emotional exhaustion of needing to be on call 24/7 for these kids, especially the little ones that have so much energy and you have to keep up with them. And not to mention the teachers that are moms or dads and then go home and they just dealt with their school kids and now they have to deal with their biological kids or the kids that they're raising. I mean, wow. I come home, and right now the phase that I'm in my life is I come home to my husband and my two dogs. We've got a pretty solid routine where I leave work and I go straight to the gym because that is the best way that I can recharge and refocus my mind and kind of, close the chapter on the day. But I am fully aware that not everybody has that luxury to do that. So many people leave work and need to go pick up their kids, or they need to go take care of their aging parents, or they have to go run errands, or they live really far away. I mean, you name it, we've all got things that we need to do. So the exhaustion, again, it's not just physical, it is mental exhaustion, it is emotional exhaustion. And it happens when there's just so much. I mean, there's teachers at my school who are amazing teachers and they've been teaching for a long time. And I hear them saying things like, I just can't do this because they have hit that level where their anxiety is meeting their exhaustion. They have been stretched so thin trying to get everything ready for the beginning of the year, trying to make sure that their kids are doing what they're supposed to do while also having a good time, but also making sure that we're doing some kind of curriculum because they do need to be learning and it's already the third week of school. But at the same time, they need to be safe and their safety is more important. I mean, the list goes on. And those teachers are exhausted. And, some of them I know for a fact are just like me. They have anxiety. And it's really hard when you have to be like your brain, the light switch is on all day. How do you turn it off when you come home? Or how do you just turn that switch off so that you can focus on the rest? And I don't have a, prescription style answer for you, but what I can do is just hold this space for you and let you know that if you're listening to this and you were like, yes, if you're one of my friends from work and you're listening to this, or if you're a fellow teacher and you're listening to this and you are like, oh my gosh, preach, or you have no idea, just let this be your reminder that it is normal. Anxiety and exhaustion go hand in hand, regardless of if you're a teacher. You could also be listening to this and thinking to yourself, well, Julie, I'm not a teacher, but I do have anxiety and I am exhausted. And that makes sense because anxiety can cause a hormonal rush that leaves you feeling drained and tired. And then sometimes you crash and it can be a temporary crash or it can literally last for weeks, which could then even lead to depression. And I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm just trying to let you know that you are not alone. You are not alone. Also, tiredness can be a symptom of having anxiety because your brain is just so nervous and worried about what could happen that you're literally tiring yourself out. So, fatigue is one of the super common symptoms for that as well. And it can definitely be managed. I'm not going to leave you guys empty handed. You know that I would never come on a podcast episode here and just be like, yep, it sucks. See you next time. So, I'm definitely going to help you. But I wanted to start this off just by basically letting you guys know where I'm at, where I know a lot of my colleagues and friends are at, and just let you know that even if you're not a teacher, you can totally be in a phase of life or have been in a phase of life where anxiety is causing exhaustion, or you are exhausted and therefore now you're getting anxious because you feel like your to-do list is never ending. You feel like there's just no time to breathe. You don't know how you're going to hit those goals that you wanted. And, you set this goal in your mind where you were going to go to the gym every day after work. And now you don't know if you're ever going to get to do that because the only other option would be to go in the morning, but you like your sleep. So you don't want to go in the morning. You name it, been there, done that. I also want to start off by saying, I know that everybody has experienced anxiety at some point in their life. The uncontrolled worries, feeling restless, on edge, this like feeling of impending doom or difficulty concentrating is not just a sign of ADHD, it can also be a sign of anxiety and experiencing irritability. But people think that just comes with, you know, heart rate or an upset stomach, but it's not just an increased heart rate and an upset stomach. It can also cause fatigue. So some of the best things to do are some of the things we talk about quite frequently on this podcast: exercise, sleep hygiene, mindfulness, and a healthy diet. I know that my listeners of all of these are like, Julie. But I promise there's more than that. I do want to just go over those briefly because I know that those are the core things of so many other things. Exercise helps so much. I can't emphasize enough that you should be moving your body every damn day. Walk, lift weights, dance, stretch, do yoga, go for a run, take an F45 class, go to the pool, do whatever you need to do because evidence shows that routine physical activity can decrease symptoms of anxiety. Exercise dampens your I can never say this word, sympathetic nervous system. Just so you guys know, it is late at night here for me. I don't cut any of this stuff out. So you're going to get the real, raw, tired Julie after a back to school night, which is why this is the perfect episode. But exercise dampens the sympathetic nervous system reactivity levels and then serves as a distraction from your stress. So it decreases the anxiety by taking your mind off of it and kind of recentering your body to, hey, let me focus on this right now. And then you will naturally let go of some of your worries. Sleep is beyond crucial too. Bedtime habits can interfere with sleep, especially if you have anxiety or if you're someone like me who has had anxiety for countless years. I mean, I couldn't even tell you when I was actually diagnosed with my anxiety disorder, but I can tell you it's been a very long time. And I take ZzzQuil every night. The nights that I try to be courageous and, I don't know, spontaneous, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a rebel and I'm not going to take a ZzzQuil. I regret it. I am up until, I'm up until about 2 a.m. and Ryan will like hear me rustling around and being like, what are you doing? And he rolls over and he's like, did you not take a ZzzQuil? So please do whatever you need to do to get to sleep. Now I say whatever you need to do, but safely, whatever you need to do. Maybe that's chamomile tea. Maybe it's a ZQuil like me. Maybe you do end up having to go to the doctor and you need some kind of sleep prescription pills. It does not matter. You do what you need to do. I find that a cool room, I always have to have a fan on, totally dark, I have a sleep mask and my ZQuil. I also take deep breaths. I try to limit my phone time before bed. I am not going to pretend like I'm perfect and like I do totally put my phone down, but I definitely try. All of those things help limit the anxiety at night, help you get a good amount of sleep, good quality sleep, and help you waking up feeling better. I also definitely recommend going to bed and waking up around the same time. I know that kind of sucks on the weekends because you want to be able to do things, and maybe you go to bed really early during the week because you have to wake up really early during the week, so you don't want to do that on the weekend, but try to not drastically change that. So if you are waking up at 5 a.m., you probably don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. on Saturday, but if you wake up at 6, don't go back to bed. I know that's not what you want to hear, but don't go back to bed. Try to keep your routine as similar as possible. The weekend is only 2 days, which sucks. But if you could keep your routine, just keep it as best as you can, I promise it makes the week better. It sucks the first weekend you do it, but then you get in your routine. Your week is better. You're sleeping better through the week, which makes you not, oh my God, I need the weekend to catch up on my sleep. Well, hopefully you're sleeping during the week. And then when you wake up earlier, you have more things that you can be doing, keeping you more active, which is decreasing your anxiety. So I promise it's worth it to give it a shot. Maybe you don't wake up at 5, but like I said, if you wake up at 6, don't go back to bed. Many mindfulness studies have shown that mindfulness practices teach you how to be in the present moment rather than fixating on your worries, and therefore reduce your anxiety. So meditation and deep breathing exercises for sure are my favorites because I can't do silent meditation yet. I personally get too distracted with it, but I know many people that enjoy it. Even just playing like YouTube, some calming music, letting my mind go where it needs to go. That was a big misconception that I learned about when I was in Mexico. I learned that it's okay to let whatever's on your mind come to your mind, but let it come and then let it go. And I know that is a hard part, but if you don't even give it some kind of space, it's just going to wait and sit there and sit there. And your mind is going to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Have moments where you let your thoughts speak to you and you let your body feel what it's feeling. Give it the space that you want other people to give to you. And I promise that that will help you become more aware of what you actually need, which will then lower your anxiety. I'm not saying it's going to give you all the right answers right away, but I am saying that you know more about yourself than you think you do. And if you just gave yourself the time and the space to listen to yourself, you'll be surprised. A healthy diet, of course, can 1000% contribute to fatigue and anxiety. If you struggle a lot with anxiety, I definitely recommend cutting down on processed foods because the sugar will 100% make you feel more likely to crash, like, a sugar high. Think about it that way. You're going to have a big blood sugar rush and then you crash, and then therefore you're anxious and you're getting fatigued. And now you just think you need more sugar. So you're just repeating this cycle, which is harming your body. And you really should be integrating, guys. I can't speak. Integrating more whole foods, vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean meats. yes to dairy if you can take it in, legumes, all the things. I'm not saying do not have coffee, and I'm not saying do not have chocolate. I'm just saying be mindful. Don't have 5 cups a day, or don't be that person that has one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one at night. Maybe swap 2 of them out for decaf. And maybe start making those transitions from a white bun to a whole grain bun when you have a burger. I know that they can be frustrating, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, but they don't taste as good. I want you to think about how it makes you feel. And I want you to think about what your body in the long run will appreciate. A lot of the times we eat food because we want the instant satisfaction from right now. But we got to think about longevity. What do I need to have? Don't just have it because you want to. I mean, I definitely had a piece of cake today because I wanted it. And then later I was bloated. But think about what you need. I also had a smoothie with spinach and protein powder and peanut butter and blueberries because I knew that's what my body needed. And I feel really good every time I fuel my body the right way. I'm not saying don't live. Go ahead. Please eat that piece of cake if that's what you want. Please have that drink if that's what you want. But be mindful. Don't go too crazy because you know that your body will not appreciate it. And therefore, guess what happens? You get anxiety. And you go through that mental spiral all the time where you are now totally exhausted and mad at yourself. And now you're picking yourself apart because you're not eating well, when you could have eliminated this by just being a little bit more strict and doing what your body needs. You know, I'm gonna let you sit on that one for a second because I know a lot of people hate hearing that. I have had many clients that are like, I know, but you got to do it. You know, what's our theme here, guys? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit here and complain and constantly be exhausted and anxious when maybe a few simple swaps in your diet would eliminate some of that? I know for a fact when I eat well, I'm proud of myself. I am aware of what I gave my body and what I fed my body, and I am proud of that. And that does not cause anxiety. But when I've had, and this is just for me, when I've had days when I know that I emotionally ate or I just ate because I was angry, I'm not so proud of that. This is also such a huge topic and so sensitive to everybody. I mean, that's it. So many people have a different relationship with food, and nutrition is so individual. But I promise, if you do what you know works for your body and you do it with fidelity, you will feel better. And if you know that you're not, I don't have to tell you what that is because I don't know what it is for you. Maybe for you, it is actually saying yes to the cake because you're tired of starving yourself or you're tired of always saying no. Say yes to the cake. It's okay. Maybe for you, it's saying no to the cake because you always have it and you know it doesn't make you feel good and you're very tired of feeling exhausted from all the sugar. Then it's time to be brave. You can do it. No matter which option you need to do, you can do it. And I promise, promise that if you listen to your body and do what your body needs, you will feel better and you will not be so anxious. I promise. Now, a big thing that I mention in many of these podcast episodes is that I am not a licensed professional. And what I mean by that is I am not a doctor. I am not a therapist. I am, or a psychiatrist, none of that. That is not me. I am a teacher. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a certified nutrition coach, which means I can do all the things I'm telling you right now. I can give you advice and I could make recommendations. And I am a woman's health and fitness specialist, but I'm not a doctor. I am not going to tell you that this is exactly what you need to do, but I will give you as many tips, ideas, thoughts, anything I can give you to help guide you in the right direction, because you guys know your body the best. And I know that once you've hit this level of fatigue because of anxiety, or you've reached this level of anxiety from being so fatigued and exhausted, it is time to take action. And it's okay if that means you need to seek emotional support, or maybe even if that means you need to go on mental health medication. I'm going to be completely open and honest with you guys. I have a therapist and I see my therapist every week. There's times when we just chat because it just feels good to talk to her. And then there's times when I've got some heavy shit I need to talk about with her. I also take anxiety medication. There was a time when I went off of it because I thought I was in a really good place. And when I went off of my anxiety medication, I started having suicidal thoughts. I mean, it was scary. And it wasn't in the sense of like, I want to die. It wasn't like that. It was like, what if, like, what if I just did this? And it was like, what? Like the Barbie movie when she's like, do you guys ever think about dying? That's what I felt like. So my point is, you need to do what your body needs. And it's really hard to hear when people say, oh, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. You do. Write it down, talk it out, meditate, and let those thoughts come to you. Let all those scary thoughts come and write them down. Associate with them for a second. Get to know your brain. What is going on? And I promise you will find a place where the anxiety and the exhaustion don't own you anymore. I know this episode is a little heavier than some of the past ones, but these are my most important episodes. These are the episodes that I want you guys to share with as many people as you can, because they are real. Mental health is important and it's not talked about enough. I know we live in a day and age where it's definitely talked about more, but it's never enough. There's always somebody out there who is struggling and doesn't have the tools that they need. So please, if you need this episode, I hope it helped you. If you know somebody else who needs this episode, again, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher or not. That was just my example. If you know somebody who needs this episode, please send it to them. My inbox is always, always, always open. And if you guys ever need anything, please let me know. You are not your anxiety and you are not your fatigue. You are you, and you are trapped in these thoughts and feelings right now that need your attention for a second. And they need you to help them out. And you got this. I love you guys. I wish you all the best, and I will talk to you all next time.